Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Sauce. Running through a few college basketball games for Wednesday night. As I'm recording this, there's still basketball games going on, so I really don't know how we did on Tuesday yet. Pacers and Celtics are battling. Lakers is looking like a loss, but there's still plenty of time left. So I'll let you know how Tuesday night stuff finished up. But yeah, Wednesday college basketball, I'm going to go through about 4 or 5 games. Let's go.
Welcome to The Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
First up, let's talk some Big Ten. We got Northwestern on the road at Purdue. Boilermakers laying 12.5 points at home, and the total sitting at 148. You pull up the numbers from these two teams on the season, and obviously Purdue's going to have the significant edge. Purdue's one of the best teams in the country, 5th in offensive rating, 39th in defensive rating. Now, Northwestern's offense can hang with Purdue at 38th, but on the defensive side, they don't belong in the same discussion back at 159th. Definitely not good news that this game's in Mackey, because Northwestern just 2-3 in true road games this year. They've lost 2 in a row, and look at these splits, man. The offense significantly dips in their road games. At home, they're 5th in EFG, 4th in three-point percentage, 36th in points per game. On the road, 209th, 125th, 310th. So offense, a serious dip here. Now, if you just isolate the numbers from the last 5 games, you probably can make an argument that Northwestern can score points on Purdue. Now, obviously, the second chance points aren't going to be there with Edey. Purdue doesn't let anyone beat them on the glass. But look at the turnover numbers. Purdue does not force turnovers, and Northwestern very good at protecting the basketball. Not to mention the field goal numbers are pretty close. So Northwestern offensively, if you take away the home-away splits, they can definitely score here. It's really the other side of the ball where there's just a huge mismatch here. If you look at Northwestern's numbers from the last 5 games, now they have played a very strong schedule in that span, but it's not like it gets any easier. They're going on the road to Purdue here. Purdue 20th in EFG in the last 5 games. Northwestern defensively 248th. Purdue's offensive rebounding rate in the last 5, 35th. Northwestern defensive rebounding rate, 309th. If we pull up the shot charts here for Purdue's offense, I mean, look at the mismatch at the three-point line. Purdue should have all kinds of opportunities from outside to hit threes on this Northwestern defense. This has been a problem for Northwestern all year defending the perimeter. On the season, they're 298th in three-point percentage allowed. So you got a very good three-point shooting team in Purdue against a very bad three-point defense. As far as betting this game, I do think Northwestern is going to score some points in this one. It's scaring me off the Purdue minus 12.5, but I just can't see their defense making stops. Purdue, like I said, should have plenty of looks from outside. So I think the best way to play this one is just go with the over, 143.5. Give me the over. Next game. SEC battle here. Alabama on the road at Georgia. Bulldogs catching a full 6 points at home. The total sitting at 165. If you line up these two teams next to each other, obviously Alabama has the significant edge on offense. They're 2nd in offensive rating. Georgia back at 129th. On the defensive side of the ball, a slight edge to Georgia, though. The key to betting this game just comes down to how much you value home-away splits, because Alabama's offense, significant dip on the road. Alabama just 2-2 in their true road games this year. Look at the three-point numbers. 1st at home, 327th on the road. Now, like I said, they've only played 4 true road games, but still 327th. Look at turnovers. 97th at home, 265th on the road. And the three-point numbers are especially important here because Alabama is 7th in the country in three-point attempts. This team loves launching threes, and on the road, they haven't been falling. And speaking of home-away splits, look at the Georgia defense. Georgia's defensive rating on the road this year, 326th. At home, 38th. This defense, just like Alabama's three-point shooting numbers, night and day difference at home and on the road. We can pull up numbers from the last 5 games here, and no question Alabama's been significantly better than Georgia, but we got to keep in mind that 3 of the last 5 Georgia games have been on the road. Plus, Georgia's strength of schedule is 11th in the country in the last 5 games. So they've played 3 road games, and they have one of the toughest stretches of schedule in the country. It's kind of hard to ignore those rebounding numbers from the last 5, though. Alabama, 55th in offensive rebounding rate. Georgia defensively, 335th. So Georgia's got to figure out a way to keep Alabama off the glass. The silver lining for Georgia's defense there would be the forced turnover rate at 73rd in the last 5. Alabama, 302nd. So Alabama's had problems protecting the basketball. On the other side of the ball, if we look at the shot chart for Georgia's offense, I mean, There's just no areas here where Georgia should be able to score. Georgia's defense, like I said, definitely not on the same level as Alabama. Georgia's offense, I should say, definitely not on the same level as Alabama's offense. I mean, maybe the corner three and the mid-range shot, but Georgia doesn't utilize those shot zones a lot. So definitely going to be tough sledding for the Georgia offense here. Betting this game really comes down to how much you personally believe in home away splits, like I said earlier. Because Alabama, a 3-point reliant team, their threes haven't been falling on the road, and Georgia's played much better defense at home. Yeah, you can look at Georgia's defense in recent games. They've given up 100-plus points twice recently, but their last home game, just 62 points. Those other games are on the road. I'm taking the points here. I think Georgia's live. I've bet Georgia a lot this year. They've been good to me. Give me Georgia +6, and I'll probably play the money line too. Next game. Some more SEC action. Florida on the road at Kentucky here. Kentucky laying 6.5 points at home or 7, depending on your sports book. Total all the way up at 171.5 on this one. These two teams already met earlier in the season. That was down in Gainesville. Kentucky took that one on the road, 87-85. Florida was actually favored in that game. I remember it. Florida just 1-3 on the road this year in their true road games. Lost it to Tennessee and Ole Miss. Florida offensively really struggling recently. In the last 5 games, just 202nd in EFG. They are 5th in offensive rebounding rate, and Kentucky not the craziest rebounding team. So there should be opportunities for second chance points here for Florida. But if you look at the shot chart, where are they coming from? I mean, can you try and find the spot Florida can score points from in this game? Because I'm not seeing it on this chart. And then if we flip things around and look at the other side of the ball, this is just a major mismatch here. Florida's defense on the road this year, 359th in defensive rating. 359. You want to know where Kentucky's offense ranks at home this year? First, literally number 1. It's like the biggest mismatch I think I've seen. If you're looking for an angle for Florida, you have to be looking at the rebounding numbers on both sides of the ball, as I said before. But Kentucky offensively just 204th in offensive rebounding rate in the last 5 games. So Florida should have the edge on the glass, which is huge. And like I said, if you're betting Florida, that's what you're banking on. The question is that enough to overcome such an insane mismatch as far as shot making? And personally, I don't think it is. This line's a little short here at 6.5, 7. I'm going with Kentucky. I think they could score 100 points in this game. Should be Kentucky -6.5. I might have to settle for a 7, but we'll see if I can find a 6.5 after I'm done recording. Next game. Big East up last. Providence on the road at UConn. UConn laying 13 or 13.5, depending on your sports book. Total sitting at 140.5. You got UConn coming off a blowout win over Xavier on Sunday. Providence is coming in off of that emotional Ed Cooley game. They did win, but they didn't cover the number. Georgetown got the cover. I should know I had Georgetown. As we know, this Providence team is led by its defense. They're 10th in overall defensive rating. UConn is 30th, so actually a slight edge to Providence. If you look at the full season numbers, offensively, it's not even a discussion. UConn is first. Providence all the way back at 167. Providence just 2-3 in their true road games this year, ranking 228th in offensive rating. Not a great look considering they're going into stores to play the defending champs who have the best offense in the country, and they're going to have to try to play catch up. And remember earlier when I said Providence actually has the edge as far as defensive rating on the full season? Well, UConn's defensive rating at home, 2nd. So the fact that this is in stores means Providence doesn't have the defensive edge either. And if we look at the last 5 games, Providence defense has fallen off a little bit. Just 86th in overall defensive rating in the last 5 games for Providence. Pretty much directly correlated with the loss of Bryce Hopkins. He's out for the season. Not to mention, in those last 5 games, just 173rd in strength of schedule. They played DePaul, Xavier, Georgetown. So it's not like Providence has been playing strong teams. They haven't. The defense has just fallen off. That injury killed them. During that same 5-game span, UConn's 7th in efficient field goal percentage. Now, the rebounding numbers haven't been great, but part of that might be they don't miss many shots. That's more of a joke. That's tongue-in-cheek. Obviously, the rebounding or percentage numbers, but UConn's offense isn't cooling down at all. That's the point I'm making. In case you missed Sunday's game, UConn beat Xavier 99-56. They shot 58% from the floor and 58% from 3. Just an absolute domination. As much as I'd love to take the dog here, I am not seeing it. I'm all over Connecticut. Give me UConn -13. If you want my top bets for all sports parlays of the day, or you want to join our Discord, head over to KyleKirms.com. The information is right there on the homepage. Let's have ourselves a great Wednesday night. Hopefully Tuesday night finishes up strong. I just lost the Iowa game and I lost Villanova in the same second. In the same minute span. I did get South Carolina earlier though. So hopefully Tuesday night finishes up well for us. Let's have ourselves a great Wednesday. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in Discord.